Hello, welcome again to Rue's Musings. I am Becca Rue. Today I have a message for us, and that message is that you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. Many of us really don't recognize that, I feel like, in our lives. Elena Brower once posted on one of her videos the difference between thinking, I feel angry right now, and I am angry, where we completely identify with the emotion of anger, versus understanding that it's just something we're feeling right now, and it too will pass, as almost everything passes. So inside of yogic philosophy, there are 5 koshas, and the koshas are the layers in the self, and you can think about them kind of like Russian dolls. So the outermost layer is the gross body, the Annamaya kosha, and that is the sensations that arise from our physical selves. So I think that most of us are really only aware of the sensations in our bodies when the sensations are negative. Otherwise, to me, it's just mostly a neutral, that we're not really spending time in that layer of ourselves. The second layer is the pranamaya kosha, the energetic body. So you can think of that as the quality of your breath, or we're pretty familiar with if someone's like, hey, how are you feeling today? Sometimes we'll say tired or, low energy, that type of thing. But to think about more deeply the quality of our energy is a kind of endlessly interesting path that, again, most of us don't really journey on. The third kosha, so think of this as the third layer in, is the manomaya kosha, and that is our thoughts and our feelings, our personality body. I'll keep going through them and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. The fourth kosha is probably my favorite, and I talk about this one a lot. It's the Vinyamaya kosha, the witness self. That's our inner wise self, that's our wisdom, the part of ourselves that has the ability to look on the other parts of ourselves without judgment. The innermost layer of ourselves is the Anandamaya kosha, our bliss body. And yoga is teaching us that always our inherent nature is bliss, which is not what most of us experience as our inherent nature, as our constant state of being. It's the others. So we can think about it that maybe the body gets in the way of our bliss, or our energy, because we're tired, or we haven't slept well, or we haven't ate well, gets in our way. I would definitely credit our thoughts and our feelings getting in the way the most. And if we can start to understand that our thoughts and our feelings are always changing, and that we don't have to identify with them to the level that we do, where we don't have to let them dictate who and how we are and who and how we feel, it gets to be so powerful. So there's a number of ways to combat this, living 98% in our thoughts and our feelings. One is to intentionally spend more time in the other layers of the self. So we get in the body inside of our asana practice, we get in the body inside of working out or running or body work, right? At the end of a 60-minute massage, you're not usually thinking like, oh, I gotta go to the store and my boyfriend's a jerk, all these thoughts. You're just in your body. It's a totally different state of being. I think we all understand this. To get in our energy, we can do with breath work, with pranayama, or with just breathing in general. And this is a highly underutilized tool that most of us forget about. That if we're feeling worked up or stressed, honestly, it's so cliche and cheesy, but we all forget to just take a few deep breaths, completely different. And how we can learn to explore and uncover inside of our breaths is magnificent, and another musing for another day. I love to talk about our witness self, to identify with that part of you that is always looking on. So inside of your rage, or inside of your anxiety, or inside of your sadness, there's some part of you that is aware and watching those feelings rather than experiencing them. And that's the witness self. And this, to me, is my favorite place to hang out when I remember. So I'm really trying to shift some of my conscious efforts towards this layer, towards the wisdom self, towards our intuition, towards watching rather than always reacting and judging and identifying with however we're feeling or whatever we're thinking. Another way we can play around, and my theme in life is play, so it's not that it's bad for us to spend time in our thoughts and our feelings, it's just that I think it controls us a little bit too much, most of us. Is to see if whatever you're feeling and you're thinking feels true, if you actually believe that story. And I don't feel like most of us pause enough to consider if that person driving in front of us is really such a jerk. That we're positive in that moment that because they did something stupid or cut us off or whatever, that they're a jerk and that they deserve punishment for their idiotic behavior. Really? You believe that? You've never done anything stupid driving? And if you have, then you deserve punishment for your idiotic behavior. I just think we're so reactive. It's wild. And inside of our thoughts, we'll believe these whole stories about our relationships that aren't actually true. And this to me comes back to everybody is not you, and how you would respond to a situation isn't how everyone else would respond to a situation. So give people the space to be themselves, and inside of our judgments and our criticisms towards other people and towards ourselves, we can pause and investigate and kind of open up and soften and say, is that really true? Are those girls really bitches because they didn't, say hello to us, or whatever our crazy heads tell us? And you think about, we don't know what's going on in their lives, and can we just pull in and be inside of our bodies, be inside of our breath, be inside of our witness, be inside of our bliss, which would be amazing, rather than our thoughts and our feelings all the time. You're not your thoughts, because they're changing. Your feelings are changing. And we just over-identify with that part of ourselves. So think about it, especially next time your thoughts and your feelings overtake you, like for sure, and we all are aware when that happens, I hope. Maybe we're not. But next time it happens to you, when you're like, oh, hopefully there can be that marshmallowy buffer of, oh, I'm totally overtaken with sadness right now, or I'm totally overtaken with even passion, whatever it is, and say, let me see if this is a true feeling. Let me see if where the rest of the layers of myself kind of fit into this, or if I'm only being inside of my feelings or only being inside of my thoughts. And we can work out into the other layers as well. Super powerful. I did want to say to y'all, my lovely friends on my musings, please do share this video if you feel like it was interesting to you, and come to yoga class if you're in Colorado Springs. I'm so enjoying our community of people that are really supporting each other inside of being exactly who and how we are. So there's not pressure for you to be anything other than how you feel that day, where your body is, where your breath is, and it's really magical. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.